Right, well, we started threading and need a lot of concentration on this, so I'm not going to be videoing all of it. You don't want to see all of it anyway, but you might just see the beginning of the thread. I've gone down 2 cuts of 5 thou. It's beginning to show. It's a while since I've done the threading. I've got to remember to do the right sequence every time and try not to screw it up. So I'm going to progress with this. I'm using the spindle handle. In fact, I've got to get the gauge round to the next position. So it's always got to go all the way around. Right, the lead screw is engaged. So we're progressing here. Got to set up my cut. I tend to do this, I take notes when I'm doing this. I've struck off 5 and 10, and now I'm going to take through on 15. So I'm going to carry on with that, not worrying about the camera aspect, but I'll come in at the end of it anyway. This should be the last cut. It's very squeaky, typical brass. I did make one slight boo-boo. My drilling through the spigot there, I did actually just go through a little further than I meant to, so it's not a big deal really. Well, I can't worry about it now. So we'll just squeak our way through. You'll hear it stop the cut as it goes past the spigot. Right, get the clearance. Out we come. I'm just going to check one thing there, which maybe will just give me just an eyeball check, just to make sure. It's very hard to measure this, but the male cutting tool is 50 thou. Let's just try and get a look there. Need a bit more magnification. He looks good. I'm going to get another magnifying glass and just check that again, because once this comes out of the chuck, that is it. So, I'm on fixed focus, so I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit, I think it's still sharp. I think the camera responds to, it's on shake protection. Does funny things sometimes, particularly when it's zoomed in too much. Right, so I'll do some final checks on that and then we'll take the nut out. Well, we're out of the chuck. Too late now. We've got, you'll probably see there, I drilled a little bit deep. Didn't mean to go through, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I might be able to see the thread. It's got a bit of burr on it, and it's therefore just a little undersize, so it'll be a case of waiting till we've made the lead screw itself, and then we'll try and get that through and lap it all in. May not be perfect, but it should be better than the old one. The only other thing I've got to do is to relieve the shoulders. Got to relieve the get these corners done. There's a load of filing to do on that. That's a job for later. Right, well there's a piece of 3/4 in the chuck. It's running pretty true. I'm going to face that off, get the centre drill in, and then I'll bring it out of the chuck by about 4 inches so we can work on the male thread. I'll show a bit of that. This is already getting a bit long, but we'll prep that and start some thread cutting, and I'll show a few bits of that as we go along. I think it's the best way, just to give you an idea of where we're at any given moment. Just cutting a relief point here. This parting tool's working reasonably alright. I want to get down from 3/4 to 400. We're getting close there now. Okay. Now 400 is the minimum. I've actually gone 5 thou over there. This will be the lead in or lead out of the thread. So we've got to turn this down now to a 1/2 inch for the thread diameter. We're just taking two more bites on here. We can risk power feed now, and that'll give us 300 approximately for the clear zone. Looks like we've got a little bit left. I'll get rid of that in a minute. I'm playing safe. I've gone back to manual focus. I'm hoping it'll behave. I'm just going to take a 3rd bite on this now and get most of the way in. Then we've got something to start with. And we'll just finish that by hand, just to get down the last bit. Right, that's that relief area. We've got to do one down here. A little bit of relief on that. Right, we're going to pull this end down to just under 400. I'm going to hand feed here using a stop on the rail. Just get this down. Won't bother you with all of it. I've got to get very close to the live centre too at the end. Let's just take a 1/10 thou cut. Another 20. Another 20. And come back to that when I get near the end. I've got to watch the live centre here. I'll just check that for size. Not terribly critical. The odd thou or two here and there. Yep, that'll work. Right, now I've got to just turn this down to a 1/2 inch in the middle here. Just take a 10 thou test cut here. I may have got my feed a little bit generous, but I want to get down to, I want to get 100 thou off fairly quick, so we'll see how it works out. This is a pretty old round nose tool. It used to be a bit of a favourite. I think I might be better off with another tool actually. Let's try an insert tool. Alright, we've got an insert tool. Had to angle it a bit so I can clear the live centre. So just see, we'll take another 10 thou and see how this does. I've reduced the feed a little bit. See if we can find a compromise. Still pretty rough and teary, but for roughing purposes it doesn't matter. We'll probably take a very fine feed to finish. So we'll get this down further. Right, that's 100 thou off. I've changed tools again. That last tool was still tearing a bit. I've got a better feed rate, pretty slow. And one of my old favourite round nose tools. It's been ground so many times, it's got a huge radius tip, but if I find the sweet spot it does pretty well. And we'll stick to that. I'm patient, don't need to take a lot at a time. So I'm just taking 10 thou cuts. That last tool, by the way, was in my new tool post, which some people may have noticed. Right, well that's much better. I have to say the finish isn't that important at this stage. We're going to cut a thread on this, but I don't know, I don't like tearing the material. Having a rough shows the cutter's not doing a good job. So we're going to finish this off, get it down to size, and then we can think about threading. Right, it's chips everywhere, and let's see what we got. Should be pretty much on the money. I'm hoping it should be about 499. I'm going just a smidgen. $4,988. Not going to be too fussy about that. I don't want it to be too tight. So anyway, now we've got to think about some threading and try and get set up for that. Right, we've taken a couple of light cuts to start the thread off. I'm actually, as usual, I'm turning the spindle by hand. Even on back gear it'll be a bit quick, and mistakes tend to be bigger. I've already put a small scratch somewhere just down here. I just touched the tool when I didn't mean to. No big deal. I'm probably a bit out of practice, a long time since I did this. So anyway, let's just give you one pass. Light cuts, patience, patience. Let's see how we get on. And engage. So there you are, that's one pass, and you can see the thread beginning to form. It's going to take a while, but so we don't rush these things. I'm going to try and get it right, or as right as I can, and then we'll work the this male thread with the brass nut. Get them lapped in together as a unique pair. Right, let's carry on a bit. Well, we're set on 33 thou at the moment, so we're over halfway. I'll just put one more pass on the video at this stage. My tool's broken. Yes, the tool broke. I thought it was doing pretty good. It's a very flimsy tool, so I'm going to have to grind a new one and then try and pick up in the right place, which is not easy. So there you are, not everything works out right, so I'll have to do something about the tool. That's annoying. It was cutting very nicely too. Never mind. Crap happens, as they say. Well, after all that excitement's not the right word actually, there's some shorter words that would have described it nicely. Yeah, the tool broke. It was a little bit weak, but I thought it would last the distance, so I've had to grind another one. I've made it shorter, just enough to do the job, and at the moment we're cutting. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. This is a shorter, stronger tool, although it's got a lot of lower side relief. The biggest problem was plugging it back into the thread, taking into account backlash and one thing and another. Which is not the easiest of jobs. So I suppose in a sense we're back on track. Nothing more annoying than tools breaking. I don't know whether you can see, yes, you can see the tool, I think. It's only got a little bit of projection compared to the other one, so it should be quite a lot stronger. Anyway, we're going to carry on and get hopefully to the end of this thread. Well, this should be the last cut. Just a very small fraction plus on 50. Just a slight safety margin. And let's get to the end. Let's hope that'll do it. That tool breakage was far from welcome. Far from welcome. So we've just got doesn't look too bad. So the next thing is to see where the nut will go on. It probably won't first time. Well, that tool breakage was a lot of hassle. We're nearly there. The nut is binding a bit at the moment, so I'm going to have to put some the lead screw sooted up, get plenty of carbon on it, find out where I've got high spots or low spots, whatever. Hopefully it'll just be a little bit of adjustment, which I was sort of expecting, but we'll probably have to leave it for a while now, as a fresh week is going to start, and we'll try and get back on this as soon as there's an opportunity. In the meantime, I might well get some video together just to keep things rolling. So that's it just for the time being. Well, the nut was a bit reluctant to go on more than about 2 turns initially, which I rather expected because I kept tolerances a bit tight. And also the nut had some burrs in it because the cutting tool wasn't leaving really a very clean finish. So you might see, you can't really tell, there's a bit of brass colour on the thread there. I'm just running it. I haven't used any lapping paste yet. If I can get away without it, I will. So I'm just running this backwards and forwards. Still a bit of brass colour. And that's basically good to go. I would have been surprised if we'd had it spot on first time. The other thing that you probably won't see, the lead in, it's always a problem on a big square thread. It's a little bit messy, and this was about the area where I had the tool breakage, so I've had to use the file a bit. This is obviously only the starting point, and it's not really going to be in use at all. So I had to file that, and it's a little bit raggedy, which was annoying. But as I said before, tools do break, usually at an inopportune moment. It's there are one or two tight spots here. You just feel slight differences. There's a tight spot. Oops, his hand again. So really all I got to do is I just got to work that a few more times. A bit more oil. Now we've got the nut running. That's about all we can do on this section here. Let's take this out a minute. Just clean that up, a lot of oil. To go back to autofocus there. Right, well there is the lead screw. You might notice down this end it looks a bit raggedy. Rather annoying because I don't like broken tools or gouges, but unfortunately it happened. So we're pretty much finished with this end. We've got to turn it round, chuck it up, and do the other end. Now just with the nut in place. There's probably still a bit of brass coming out of that. There were definitely some burrs in the brass thread, but it's beginning to smooth out now. So we're getting there. I'll get back to this when I get the next opportunity.